What's going on? My name is Darien Pippens, and I'm here with the Greater Shiloh Media Team, and we're going to do a Q&A or a question and answer session with our pastor, Dr. Michael Wesley Sr., as we are getting ready to release his upcoming book, So You Think You Want to Be Married. So, Pastor, let's move into the first question. What was the creative thought process behind the book and the book title, So You Think You Want to Be Married?
Well, when couples come to my office and announce that they are interested in being married, that's what I ask them. That's the question. So, you want to be married? It's kind of irony with me because I know that people don't always know what's necessary in order to be effectively married. So that's always an intrigue to me.
Right. And that's the number one question. So you think you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this? So exactly. I like that.
Because that sets up the counseling that will follow. Because I want to teach on what is necessary in order to be effectively related.
I like that. All right. Now, question number 2. With this book, is this something that singles, are they the target audience, or is this a book that anybody can read?
This is a book for anybody and everybody. All people have feelings, and everybody have aspiration at some point to want to be with someone. God made us in such a way that He said it's not good for man to be alone. That's mankind. And so everybody has a thought somewhere in their mind that there is somebody that I need to be with. And so this book is for everybody. Right.
Okay. Question number 3. When is the best time to read this book? When you're entering into the marriage or once you get into the marriage?
Well, I think beforehand is always a good thing. One of the reasons I wrote it is because I did not have the benefit of premarital counseling. When I was young and first got married, I made a lot of mistakes that perhaps could have derailed the relationship, but could have been prevented had I had the benefit of someone talking to me about these matters beforehand.
Okay, so guidance. I mean, we all need it. I know I'm gonna need it. And that's one thing that I think we cling for, especially getting into something as big as marriage. Okay, number 4, with the differences in generational thoughts and beliefs on marriage, how can this book bridge that gap?
Book bridges the gap because people are people. Older people tend to have had a little bit more experience, and younger people are seeking some of the experience. It's not a book to tell you what to do. It's a book that raises into your conscious awareness some of the kind of skills that are necessary for people to be involved with, regardless of their age.
Okay. So regardless if you 25 or 55, this is something that
yes, sir,
should be read. Okay. Question number 5. In chapter 2, I want to say it was chapter 2, skills needed in marriage. You start the chapter with the 3 skills needed to thrive in marriage. That is communication, understanding, and trust. How important are those 3 things?
Those are absolutely critical. They form what I have drawn in the book as a triangle.
Okay.
Good, honest communication is the first side of that triangle.
Okay.
That gives people the necessary understanding of each other. And that ultimately is what builds trust. If there is no good, honest communication, there will not be any understanding. And if there is no understanding, trust evaporates.
Okay. Would you say that trust is the foundation of our relationships?
Trust is foundational. But people don't just naturally trust one another. Trust comes from communication, and that's a communication skill.
Okay. All right. I like that. I'm learning something. Okay, number 6. We're going to dive deeper into the communication. With number 6, you also say the communication will make or break a marriage. So in your years of experience with dealing with marriages and dealing with couples, what has been the number one cause for broken marriages?
I think the number one cause is the lack of communication.
Okay.
Often when people break up, sometimes they say that it's because of irreconcilable differences.
Right.
The truth is, it's not any irreconcilable differences. It's an unwillingness to communicate about those differences.
Right.
Pride and other things dig in deep,
Finances.
and people are unable to break those barriers. Most relationships get in trouble because of a lack of communication.
Okay.
People think it's money, honey, or power,
Right.
but it's not. It's really the lack of communication about those subjects.
Okay. Which makes sense, because if we're going to use finance, if you're making something and you're not communicating and bringing back, that could cause a problem within the marriage if somebody's making more, making less, so I get that.
Yeah.
Okay. So with number 7, we're going to tackle your role here in ministry. So with number 7, with your role in ministry, what challenges have you confronted when in the confines of your marriage, and how does a healthy relationship with God help the marriage?
A healthy relationship with God helps every relationship. God is love.
Right.
And if I love God, then it allows me to be able to love others. But if I don't have love and respect for God, it's going to be hard for me to have love and respect for anyone.
Right.
And in my personal life, as I've grown in my relationship with God, it has allowed me to grow in my relationship with my family, my wife, my children, and other people.
So it's a healthy balance. You can't love your fellow man if you don't love God, and you can't love God if you don't love your fellow man.
Right.
So it's a healthy balance. Okay. All right, with number 8, Mrs. Wesley played a role in writing or forwarding the book. I'm sorry. So did she have any other roles in the book? Huh?
Well, she didn't write the book. She wrote the foreword.
Right.
And out of her own inspiration for having observed me working in counseling, because some counseling take place in our home.
Yeah, right.
And there have been some times when I brought her in on certain relationships that needed a female's perspective.
All right.
And so she's been able to assist in some ways like that. So she knows it works.
Okay, and so that answers the back end of that question, because the back end of it is, does this book have a female perspective?
Yeah. In a sense, it does.
Okay.
It's a biblical. It has a strong biblical overtone.
Okay.
Because I think that's where marriage comes from. It comes from God.
It comes from God, exactly.
Right.
Okay. All right, with number 9, we're going to bounce back to dealing with the younger generation again. And with this question, with many different pressures facing the younger generation when it comes to marriage, what can this book provide them in the quest to find love, true love, happiness, and a long-lasting marriage?
Long-lasting marriage is the goal. The goal of marriage is unity, 2 people becoming one.
Right.
And often we have different ideas about how that needs to happen. And that comes out of how a person was raised. A person raised in this home with these set of values, and another person raised in another home with these set of values. The challenge is, how can those 2 opposite worlds come together and form one solid relationship for a lifetime?
Right.
And that's the challenge of marriage. And it's difficult,
Right.
because you have an enemy. And that enemy is Satan.
It's Satan, exactly.
Right. And if he attacked the first marriage, Adam and Eve, when there was no one else on the earth,
Right.
what do you make you think that he doesn't want to attack your marriage
Exactly.
and your relationship today with so many other temptations that he throws your way?
All right, so would you say that for younger people reading this book, as far as that statement you just made, should they be on high alert about the fact that it's harder once you get into the marriage?
Oh, it's going to be difficult. I think one of the greatest challenges in marriage, period, is this question. Can I give myself to this one person in a relationship for life?
For life.
That is the question, and that is the issue that's at hand. And for many people who have grown in today's world, especially where variety is the spice of life, it takes a while to understand that you have to learn how to commit yourself.
Wow, I like that. So the last question, in a summary for this book, what will readers glean from this book, and what advice will it give readers?
Readers will walk away with a series of checklists of things that you can do. If you're considering a relationship, there are some things in the book that's going to help you look at what you're really trying to decide to do. You need to look at compatibility checklists.
Right.
You need to look at spiritual checklists. You need to look at compatibilities in a number of ways.
Right.
And a reader will walk away with that. A reader will walk away with a firm foundation of understanding where marriage came from and what's necessary in order to be able to live effectively with another person. And people will be able to learn over time how to shed themselves of some of the selfish behavior that we just naturally have.
We're naturally selfish.
Right. And in order to be in a relationship, you have to lose some of that selfishness and you have to learn how to serve another person.
Okay. Lose some of the selfishness to learn how to serve another person. I like that. Well, that's question number 10. So, any lasting things you want to give the viewers at home about this book?
Oh, I just want you to read it because it's going to be helpful to you. And all of us want to be married.
Right.
All of us, no one really want to go through life totally by themselves.
Right.
That's opposite of what God made us for. God made us for companionship. And we all, in some way, at some point, want some level of companionship.
Okay.
And this book is designed to help you understand what that companionship should look like and how you might go about it to carry out an effective relationship.
Well, I'm definitely going to read it. I'm sure the entire body of Greater Shiloh is going to read it. Where can we find this book and when can we get this book?
Well, the book is going to be available on all of your book outlets. It'll be on Amazon.com. It'll be on Barnes & Noble. It'll be in the Greater Shiloh Church bookstore. Okay. It'll be on, you can order it on the website, www.mwwesleyministries.org. Okay. You also can even access that through the Greater Shiloh website, greatershiloh.org as well. They'll find a link to MW Wesley Ministries, and we'll probably put a form on the church's website as well. Okay. You can also buy the book directly from the publisher, Zulon Press. Okay. And books will be everywhere. We're going to make it in bookstores around town as well.
Okay, well, that's all I have. I'm Darien Pippens with the Greater Shiloh Media Team. This is our pastor, Dr. Michael Wesley. Go get that book, So You Think You Want to Be Married.
It really says, so
yeah,
you want to be married.
That's all for us. Go get that book.